Hitting record. Says it's recording. Okay. So we're going to look at some citations and practice them. What do I do? Okay. Share screen. Let's go to, we're going to start with, not this one. We will do, oops, that's not the one we wanted. Well, we'll do it because it's pulled up right now. Okay, so the first source that I'm going to help you, that we're going to talk about citing is this thing. And all of these are things that you've read, mostly so that I can have the titles in my brain and remember them. So this is What Writing Is by Stephen King. The reason that I'm showing you how to cite this one is because I think that it's it has some challenges to it that many of you might experience these days. So that's why I've chosen it. First thing that you want to do when you sit down to start citing something is to sort of look and see what kind of information you already have. So we know, just looking at this, because I provided it, the title of the book that this came from, that's what's underlined. And then we know the author, by Stephen King. And we have the title of the small thing. So remember that you have your little thing, which is the chapter, the web page, the video, and then you have the big thing, which would be, well, let's say like an episode of a TV show would be your small thing, and that would be put in quotation marks. Then you have the big thing, which is the series title. So right here, the equivalent to that is What Writing is our small thing, the chapter title, and On Writing is the big thing, the book title. The other piece of information that we can glean from this is if we scroll down, we have our page numbers. So we have page 103, and it goes down all the way to page 107. That's as much as we can get from this. Some information that you're missing that's important is the publisher's name and also the date of publication. Those are pieces of information that some people will want to see, particularly the date. So not all professors are as easygoing as me. If you turned in a citation that has Stephen King, On Writing, and What Writing Is, page numbers, I would probably be fine with that. You may, though, discover that there are hard asses out there who will count you down for not having all of it. Let me go ahead and start off my citation. Oops, I have to share it with you. I'm going to start it with what we have, though. What's nice about this one is that I know all of the words without having to go back and look. So King, comma, Stephen, last name, comma, first name. What Writing Is, period, inside quotation marks. On Writing, comma, the big thing, the book, the season, not seasons, the series titles for movies, or not movies. Why am I tongue-tied? For television series go in italics. And then page numbers. But right here in between the comma on writing and the page number, that's where the information is that we are missing in this particular citation. So I'm going to go and show you what I would do. Because we are so used to working with PDFs that we find online, we Google something, we find a PDF. A lot of times there's missing information. So what I do in a situation like this when I don't have all the information I need is Stephen King, On Writing, go to it, and you can see if you scroll through, there's lots of things that you can look at. You can look at the book itself. Amazon, you can often find the information on Amazon. I like to go down to Wikipedia because they often, not always, but frequently have the books along with the publication information. So this was published in the year 2000 by Charles Scribner and Sons. So I'll remember 2000. And what I'll do is go ahead and just highlight that and copy it. The information about the publisher is not always the most essential thing. I think that having the date can be really important so that your readers can kind of put it in a context. Oops, I forgot to share that with you. You put the date first, publisher second. In the olden days, you would have also like include a location, and it would look kind of like that. We don't have to do that anymore. The reason we used to have to do that is because back in the olden days, different locations had different typesets that they would have used. And so, uh-oh, I'm getting a note that my internet is unstable, so hopefully you guys can follow me. But in the olden days, there would be different locations of different places where they printed these things. And so if you had an edition from New York, there may be typesetting differences between that edition and the one that was printed in San Francisco. So it used to be that you had to include the place of publication. Now that doesn't matter because everything's digitized. And so I'm kind of glad that they took that out, because I would just randomly pick one of the many, a lot of times there's many places of publication listed. The reason why I think that having a date is essential is because a lot of times that can tell us the quality of the information. With a writing memoir, it doesn't matter, but if you're looking at scientific information, the date probably does matter. One thing that I forgot to do almost for my citation is to include that PP there. That means the pages 103 through 107. So there is our first citation. I'm going to do a couple more. That one is a book chapter. Let's go ahead and pull up something else. If I do that, I can maybe see it better. So we have now this video that we watched in class. What makes a good life? This is the information that we need to look for in this particular piece to cite it. So we have the title of the small thing, the article, the video title, What Makes a Good Life, right here. We have the author, Robert Waldinger. We have the big thing, the website, which is TED. Some people might want to include the subtitle, Ideas Worth Spreading, but we don't need to do that. I think simplicity is always better. We'll also need to include the hyperlink or the URL that we can copy from the top. And I have it pulled up on the transcript, but we also need to find the date, which if you look and go to details, is available here. I'm going to write this down so I remember, November 2015. So, last time I did this, I was able to copy and paste the title, but it's not letting me. So because I have taught this a few times, I'm gonna just go ahead and try to share it while I'm doing it. Try to remember it as much as I can. So here is my second citation. Because K comes before W, Waldinger, Robert, I can put him second. What makes a good life? So one thing about this one, lessons from the longest study on happiness. So one thing to notice about this is that you have here, you have a question mark. That is if you were in having another piece that has a subtitle, you maybe use a colon to separate the main title from the subtitle. In this case, it's a question mark, and that works too. You don't need to double up and have both. So the question mark is plenty there. This comes from the website TED, and the date was November 2015, comma. And then I just need to go copy the URL and put it in there. We need to italicize the big thing, the website, the book, the website, the series title, whatever it is, all of those are italicized. Something we can do now that we have a couple of citations on the page, you could start formatting. And so what I do is I do Control All or just select it all, go down into, oops, what did I do? Do a right click on my mouse, go down to paragraph. And what I usually do is I start by saying, don't add space between paragraphs of the same style, then make all of the spacing 0 point before and after, then go over to double. And then you go up here. This is the thing that might be something that you don't know. You can go up to here, and this is where you can choose hanging indentations. So this is what hanging indentation looks like. You have the first line that's on the left side, and then you're tabbed in on the second line. While I'm at it, just go ahead and type in bibliography. This is a bibliography and not a works cited because it's a list of sources that aren't attached to another document or another paper. Okay, we've got 2. Let's do another one. The next 2 probably will go quickly. I'm gonna get rid of a couple of these. Okay, here's the next one that we'll look at. This is another one that you read for today or for class. This is the Mindful is the name of the website that it's from. How to Stop Your Stories from Running Your Life is the title of the article itself. The author's name is Grace Bullock, and the date, and I'm going to write this down so I don't have to come back because I'm lazy. I think I can remember the rest of it, and I'm going to copy this while I'm over here. I'm going to copy the URL. Stop share and reshare. So B for Bullock comes before K for King. How to stop your stories from running your life. One thing I forgot to mention when I had up the what makes a good life example, in that one, if you were to copy and paste the title as it was presented on the website, it would have not capitalized all the letters. It only capitalized the W and the L. So if you're doing MLA, you have to go in there and recapitalize all of the major words for the title. I think it's APA, you don't have to capitalize titles that way, but for MLA you do. Again, if it's for my class, I won't notice it, but you may have stickler teachers who will. I think that the name of the website was Mindful. Yes. Comma. The date was 27 March 2017. That's how they like to have dates set up in MLA, 27 March 2017. And then we end with our URL and then end with a period. I don't know if I forgot to put my period at the end of this one. So you always end the sentences with periods, and citations are sentences. So you want a period at the end. Just as a reminder, you have 3 periods, 1, 2, 3, and then the stuff in between the article title and the end is separated by commas, which is much more simple than the old way. So we have 3 citations. I'm going to do one more. The reason I'm doing this one more is because it has a trick to it, and it is helpful to see what to do when you have certain tricky things to cite. So we have this one. It's on figurative language that you watched. I'm gonna copy it, the citation, or no, the URL. So this is what we're gonna be citing. The reason I wanted to show this one is because we, even though we have a place that is sort of like a sponsored or producer, or whatever you wanna call it, the Khan Academy, we do not have an author. So it's free figurative language, it's on, we access it through YouTube. We do have a date, June 8th, 2020. But we don't have an author. So I wanted to show you what to do in that situation. So F comes before K. So what you do is you just start with the next piece of the citation over. So for me here, figurative language, that's how you alphabetize it. You just start it with the first thing that you have. We got this from YouTube. The date was 8 June 2020, and there is the URL. When it does things like when it fills in your hyperlink, you can choose how you want to do it. I like to keep mine, I like to remove the hyperlink just to keep the page looking prettier, basically, but it doesn't really matter. I think it's easier, a little bit easier to read. But if you have your hyperlink enabled, then the person reading it can easily click on it and go to the site too. So there are different ways of deciding whether or not that's the right choice for you. So those are our 4 citations. We have an example from an article from a website, a YouTube video, which those are pretty simple to cite. The only difference would be that if we had an author, you would just put an author right here. So pretend, right? We'd have to change the order that they go in. I'd have to put me at the top. Then we have a chapter from a book. If we were citing just the book, you would actually take this out, take out the entire chapter title, and take that out, and it would be a tiny little itty bitty citation. And then this one, which is an example of a video that we retrieved from a specific website, which is the TED website. Do you have any questions about writing your citations? I'm assuming that's a no. One thing I will say while I'm thinking about it is that I know many of you will probably be choosing to use a citation generator, a citation machine, whatever, something like that, and that's perfectly fine. I wanted to show you how to do it by hand, specifically because I was trying to find a good citation generator this week, and all of the ones that I used to recommend to students are suddenly making me watch ads for all of your citations, and my ethics didn't allow me to send students to a place where they would have ads thrown in their faces or be asked to pay for their citations, which I just don't feel good about that. So that's why I was like, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and show you some examples. Again, in my class, you can, I am not a stickler. I'm mostly wanting to see your work with citing things in the text is more important to me than seeing what you do at the end and your work cited. But I know that you're going to have to start learning it at some point in your other classes. So this is a fast and dirty introduction to citation. If you don't have any questions, I'm going to stop the recording, and bye-bye to anybody who's visiting just for this recording.